This is my Pokemon card collection. And this is my most expensive card. But do you know how difficult it is to sell this card for its market value? First, you need to list it on a site like eBay. And if you haven't previously sold, you have no credibility. So then you have to get it graded, send it off to a third-party grading business, which by the way, you will have to pay for. And make sure you pack it properly, because if it gets damaged during shipping, it will impact your final grade. Then you'll need to wait for it to get graded and sent back to you. Finally, your card is authenticated and ready to be listed. But then you realize, how do you prove to buyers that your authentication is actually legit? All these issues stem from the fact that there is a lack of transparency and no source of objective truth. So is there a solution that eliminates all these issues? Before we dive into the solution, let's delve deeper into the issues at hand for both buyers and sellers for not only Pokemon cards, but all trading card games. Counterfeit cards are a growing issue. As the value of these trading cards continue to soar, so too do the number of fake and counterfeit cards on the market. When influencers like Logan Paul start dropping $5.3 million on a single Pokemon card, the incentive for scammers to counterfeit rare and valuable cards becomes more obvious. These can range from poorly made knockoffs to highly sophisticated replicas that are nearly indistinguishable from the real thing. This makes it tough for both buyers and sellers to determine the authenticity of cards and raises concerns about the credibility of sellers, especially those who are new to the market. That's why many buyers and sellers rely on the grading system. Grading a card is not only a way to authenticate, but it's also a way to verify the condition of the card, which generally has an influence on its final valuation. The higher the grading, the better the condition, and therefore attracting a higher valuation. The most reputable grading company is called Professional Sports Authenticator, also known as PSA. They initially launched in 1991 and since then have graded nearly 10 million trading card game cards. As a result, they have established themselves as the go-to service for authentication. However, the grading system is not without issues. Grading your card can be expensive. The minimum cost is $15 a card, and this can increase based on the declared value of the card. The declared value is the estimated value of the card after it has been graded by PSA. So my Pikachu card that has a declared value of around $84 is going to cost me $15 to be graded, which is around 18% of the declared value. We haven't even factored in shipping costs, insurance, or even the seller's fees from a marketplace that we sell the card on. PSA is also located in the United States. So for people outside of the States, like myself, will have to pay extra to post it over to them. Now you need to worry about packaging and whether or not it's worth getting insurance. Packaging is important because this could impact the final condition grade of the card. If your card gets damaged during transit, there is nothing you can do. And even if you got insurance, how would you argue the declared value for the card if it hasn't even been graded yet? In Australia, there are third-party businesses that are PSA authorized to grade your card, which would solve the international shipping dilemma. But then you would have to trust a less reputable business to handle and grade your card. And believe it or not, professionals grading it get it wrong. Look at the infamous Logan Paul incident where he spent $3.5 million on a box of first edition Pokemon booster packs. Even though it got authenticated by the Baseball Card Exchange, BBCE, who have, and I quote, authenticated tens of thousands of sealed card products for nearly 20 years, got duped by a sealed box full of G.I. Joes. Now, it's unlikely that there was any malicious intent from the BBCE, but with the amount of money that gets thrown around in this industry, it would be naive to think that corruption did not exist. Okay, then the next issue is you just have to wait. For 65 days. Yes, that's over 2 months to get a card graded. Before I pulled that Pikachu, Leafeon was my most expensive card. In December 2022, it was trading at around $200. So if I went through this process and had to wait 2 months, I would have lost around $100 in the declared value of the card.
But I guess when you're in crypto, losing only 50% is not the end of the world.
As you can see, it's an absolute shit show. Attempting to combat fraud and counterfeiting through the grading system is a cumbersome and costly process. When you factor in all the other expenses like shipping, insurance, transaction fees from the marketplace, you can see how you might actually spend more than the declared value to grade the card. So in most cases, it's probably not worth grading in the first place. So Is there a way to streamline the process, cut out the middlemen, and make transactions more affordable for buyers and sellers? Yes, digitizing trading card games with the use of blockchain technology. In recent years, we've seen a growing shift towards the digital space in many aspects of our lives, including collectibles. This trend isn't just a temporary fad, it's becoming a substantial industry in its own right. The COVID-19 pandemic further accelerated the digital migration as collectors worldwide found themselves constrained by the limitations of physical collectibles during lockdown. As a result, there's been a notable uptick in virtual galleries, online marketplaces, and digital art sales. This change isn't exclusive to traditional forms of art. The trading card industry is also moving in this direction. Blockchain-based trading card games are the next natural progression in this shift, offering a more accessible, secure, and transparent platform for collectors. This growing interest in digital assets is evident in the video game community as well, with players spending significant amounts on rare skins in games like CSGO. It's clear that the line between physical and digital collecting is becoming increasingly blurred. Now, I know what most of you are thinking. How can blockchain or crypto, infamous for scams and fraud, prevent scams and fraud in the TCG trading market? Hear me out. Blockchain is essentially a digital ledger that records transactions in a decentralized and secure way. It's a system that is inherently transparent, making it much more difficult for fraud and counterfeit activities to occur. Non-fungible tokens, also known as NFTs, are blockchain-based tokens that can represent anything from digital art to music, and in our case, trading cards. Each NFT has a distinct value and can't be exchanged on a one-to-one basis with any other token. This makes them the perfect solution for trading cards, as each card is unique and has its own value. Alright, this is starting to get a bit too technical, so how about I use an example? This is my card collection in a blockchain-based trading card game called Gods Unchained. As you can see here, I have a lot of cards, and almost all of them are NFTs. The moment you open a booster pack and pull a card, it gets minted or registered on the blockchain as a unique digital asset, with a certificate of authenticity and ownership. In this case, these cards would be minted to the immutable X blockchain. Other blockchain trading card games might use other blockchains. For example, Splinterlands uses the Hive blockchain and Axie Infinity uses the Ethereum blockchain. We can verify our cards by going to Immutascan and typing in our public wallet address. As you can see, the blockchain records the transaction of the card, the price it was traded, and when it was minted. Another perk of having all this information on chain is that anyone can verify the circulating supply of a single card. This is extremely important in trading cards because generally speaking, the scarcity of the card will impact its value. We recently witnessed a huge scandal in the Pokemon trading card scene, with an employee of a Pokemon card printing company allegedly stealing hundreds of rare cards from the production line. This led to a mass distortion of the circulating supply, and many collectors and fans complained about their pull rates being 4 times harder. Would Logan Paul have really spent $5.3 million on that PSA 10 graded Pikachu illustrator if there was more than one? Probably not. But what about physical cards? Just because the world is becoming more and more digitized doesn't necessarily mean that physical cards are just going to disappear. Well, the good news is NFT integration with physical goods is becoming a common sighting. Companies like Adidas and Gap have ventured down this phygital route where NFT owners would redeem exclusive physical merchandise. We are also seeing NFTs used in ticketing to solve the fraudulent and scalping issues of that industry. Now, currently, there is no seamless system that integrates NFTs with trading cards, but I've come up with a rough working model of how it would work. So the first step would be when a trading card is manufactured, a digital version of the card, which will become an NFT later. This digital twin would be linked to the physical card through a QR code or an NFC chip, serving as a certificate of authenticity and ownership. Then the digital twin will be registered to the blockchain. This registration would include information such as the card's unique identifier, the date of creation, the artist name, and any other relevant metadata. This registration provides a secure, transparent, and verifiable record of the card's origin and provenance. The next step would be when a physical card is purchased, the ownership of the corresponding NFT is transferred to the buyer's digital wallet. The buyer now has indisputable proof of ownership and can easily prove the authenticity of their card. Then, when selling or trading the card on the open marketplace, the owner can transfer the NFT to the new owner's digital wallet, along with the physical card. This transfer is recorded on the blockchain, ensuring that the new owner can verify the card's authenticity and trace its origins. To do this, you would use smart contracts, automated blockchain-based contracts. These could facilitate the transactions between the buyers and sellers. These contracts could handle payment, NFT transfer, and any other terms of the transaction, ensuring a smooth and secure process. Counterfeit cards would not have an associated NFT or blockchain record, making them easily identifiable as fakes. This would reduce the risk of buying counterfeit cards on the secondary market. Now, obviously, this model is going to bring about its own issues. So, for example, a lot of people are unfamiliar with blockchain technology. It would require them to have to create a wallet, and therefore user adoption would be quite slow. On top of this, the legal and regulatory environment is still uncertain. We don't even know what is the definition of an NFT. Is it an investment, or is it a personal use asset? And finally, there's going to be higher costs associated with integrating NFTs with the physical cards, which I'm sure a lot of manufacturers are not going to welcome on board. However, despite the initial friction, the physical trading card game companies could incentivize or reward users who adopt this hybrid physical NFT system by offering them additional utility beyond the verification and authenticity of a card. For example, they could grant access to exclusive digital content, online tournaments, or even augmented reality experiences related to the card. In summary, blockchain and NFTs could offer a solution to the challenges that the trading card game market faces. They hold the potential to streamline the process, enhance the transparency, and reduce the costs for buyers and sellers. Ultimately, if I'm investing significant amount of money into these collectibles, I'd like to verify the authenticity of the card at a fraction of today's cost. So do you think this is a problem that NFTs can solve? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more Web3 gaming content.